scene be so involved. I mean, now knowing behind the scenes just as much as on camera, this man has really inserted himself onto the show. He loves the spotlight. He really does. I mean, he has confessionals, for crying out loud. It's really crazy. And that's what I
This
mean about
season, you
Teresa.
think he's definitely going to have confessionals?
I wouldn't be surprised if he does, especially during the scene of him telling the girls that he spoke to the ex. If you want to touch really quick on, because I don't want to keep you too long, and I
And
know
well, can I ask one question, but don't lose your train of thought? So,
yeah.
how Dolores and Paulie and his wife's brothels, are they here in the US or they're allegedly overseas? Like
I
what
I didn't
James
ask
say?
Louis. I was just like so shocked. I didn't ask. He just said there is big money involved in those
And do
boy,
you
and he
think
called them
Dolores
whorehouses.
knows this? Like, does
And
Dolores know this?
I don't see how she couldn't, especially if that much money's involved in. I don't see how she couldn't. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? I'm not going to speculate on that because I don't know, because I don't talk to Dolores. But one thing I would like to tell Dolores is that, I know you have a history with Teresa. I know you're going to want to see receipts and stuff. I I'm willing to show you what I have, but Teresa is that is not her friend. That is not. I mean, if it was her friend, it was her true friend, she could give two shits if she went to the Marco wedding for the Gorgas over there. She wouldn't call her a bitch over something like that. I mean, she wouldn't throw tantrums that Dolores liked Margaret's posts and call her a fucking idiot. Like, she wouldn't insult her the way she did if she was her friend. So I would like to tell Dolores that's not your friend.
Well, the whole thing you were saying too prior, which I don't know where you said this, but I heard like, so you were saying like, okay, you revealed this about Dolores had an affair with someone on David and the guy was married, and that Teresa was trying to maybe put this, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but this Teresa wanted this to get out about her friend Dolores so she could blame it on Margaret. Is that true? Did I hear you
Yes,
say
they were
that?
trying. Yes, they wanted to. Again, that's not her friend. That's not Dolores. Teresa's not your friend. I will say that in like the most serious way ever. I'm not like making a dig. I'm not trying to like, throw shade. Like, that's not her friend. She was willing to put that shit out there about Dolores. Also, they can take Margaret down. They did not like the fact that Margaret, who they refer to as a pig, had a relationship with Dolores, because to them, it looks so bad that they think Margaret is attacking Louis and Dolores is friends with Margaret. So I remember when Teresa broke it down to me, I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. I see how that looks bad. But they really felt it was damning there. It was really damaging towards Teresa that her longest so-called friend on the show was friends with someone like Margaret. So they wanted to take Margaret down. So they wanted to like, again, they were going to feed Dolores to the wolves in the process of trying to take Margaret down. They were going to pin it on Margaret.
Wow. Well, yeah, I would say that that is not Dolores's friend then if this
And they
is there's
wanted,
an
and they
affair that's going to be
no, and
exposed
they
just to try
wanted
to take someone down.
No, and they wanted me to use someone who used to, be on your pod to take it to Dolores to make it look like, oh my God, I'm so worried for Dolores. Does she know what Margaret's doing behind her back? Like, it was just also calculated. It's disgusting. But no, that Teresa does not. She does not view Dolores as a friend. If she did, she would treat her different.
And what shocks me is that there are people listening to this where, again, I have no horse in the race. There are people that will not hear a word that we've said. That's the shocking thing to me is that in this franchise, when you hate Melissa and you are a tree hugger or vice versa, you won't even listen to the facts. So guess what? Everyone says I'm a flip flopper. I am a flip flopper. You take the facts in. Do I believe that all this happens and that Jim Leonard is like unethical and is doing all this with Teresa? I do. I do believe it. I
And
could see it 100%.
and
The same that I could see Melissa kissing Nick. One thing has nothing to do with the other. I believe both of them.
Yeah, and don't even like. I know you're strong as a person. Like, you're not even gonna let that them calling you a flip flopper bother you. Don't even like give it a second thought, because the same people who are calling you a flip flopper are the same people who were praising Carlos King weeks ago. But the moment he touched on my receipts, they're coming for him. The
A
same people
hundred
who are
percent.
calling the same people who are going to call you a flip flopper for over here, like having me on your pod, are the same people who were praising Margaret Joseph's in a DM saying that she knows I run anti-Teresa accounts. And then boom, just today, that same person is talking about Margaret's ex who has passed and saying she's involved in mortgage fraud. The same people who are calling us flip-floppers are, damning Melissa Feaster every day, calling her a cunt. And then they're slipping into her DM and saying, oh my God, Gabriella's talking about you. We're so concerned. So it's like, they're so phony. That's why, I mean, sometimes I want to address the haters, but sometimes I don't want to give them attention because they're just meant to distract.
I don't
So,
address it at all. Right. Look, the same people that were so thrilled that I had on Jackie Robinson, who talked about how awful it was working with Melissa, she all but said Melissa, I mean, she basically said Melissa took $10,000 out of the cashier. Whether that's true or not, Jackie has the receipts, so Melissa could deal with that. But, and I love Jackie. All the people that were so thrilled I had on Jackie were like, go, David. Well, yes, be disgusted that I'm speaking to you. So
oh, just
it
wait.
is, I am not on the take. I am not here
Yeah,
today to have you like me or dislike
yeah,
me. Life
yeah,
is so freeing outside of
yes,
our HOJ when you just do not care at all.
yeah,
I am not living this life for anyone. And that is really the
yeah.
goal that everybody should live in life.
Yeah. And
Really.
that's what I tell everybody. Like, you do you, boo. Like, don't let no one hold you down. If you want, before we wrap it up, I can drop another little piece of tea that does involve Jim Leonard.
Please
There was
do.
in regards to season 14, we're gonna see a sit down. So do you guys remember the baseball charity game? There was a bunch of stuff leaked that Joe Gorga was talking to Bill Aiden. So there was some pictures at the baseball charity game that was filmed for this season. Those two were talking. Well, I remember Jennifer telling me she was pissed off that he did that, number one, because Jennifer had not addressed BravoCon with the Gorgas for like ever. Like, they didn't discuss it. And we were now literally almost the whole year past that BravoCon fight between the Gorgas and Jennifer. So when she saw that her husband was over there talking to Joe Gorga and they were even hugging and stuff, that really pissed off Jennifer. And she made that known to me. And I even remember Roxanne in text messages, and I have this receipt. She was just like, wow, Bill Aiden was like, that was a slap in the face to Jennifer, like not a good move. Like, she was personally like pissed off, as if Bill was her husband, that he was over there talking to Joe Gorga. Well, anyway, fast forward after that baseball charity game where Bill and Joe Gorga were talking and Jennifer was pissed over it and Roxanne was talking shit in text messages. Um, Melissa ends up having a sit down with Jennifer Aiden, and we got a little glimpse of that in the preview or whatever. So these two girls have a sit down, Melissa and Jennifer, and they do bring up BravoCon. And I remember Jennifer telling me that she told Melissa Gorga, this is like really like convenient now that you want to sit down and talk about things and blah blah blah. So they get into that, and then Melissa ends up inviting Jennifer to her housewarming, and Jennifer's like, well, I don't really feel comfortable being in your house because we got into a fight at BravoCon.
Why am I losing you again? I feel like we just lost you. Let me see. Are you still there? Yeah, you're still there. But I can tell that we are not listening to you. It's almost like you went on mute or something.
On Jim,
Wait,
Teresa.
we missed all of that.
Oh, did you? Can you hear me?
The last thing, yeah, the last thing we heard was that like they were sitting down and Jennifer didn't feel comfortable